Welcome to WGD Palooza, our virtual global celebration of golf. I'm Alyssa Gaudet, the founder of Women's Golf Day, and on behalf of our team, supporters and sponsors, the Women's Golf Day ambassadors, and golf facilities around the world, we're excited to have you join us. Hi, I'm here with Katie Boyce, the historian for the USGA Museum and Library. She'll be taking us on a tour today to learn more about the amazing people that have shaped golf and the history of the game.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Our mission here at the USGA Museum and Library is to preserve and celebrate the history of the game. And we have the largest, most comprehensive collection of golf history in the world.
This sounds great.
Let's get started. Welcome to the USGA headquarters and the USGA Museum and Library. The USGA's mission really focuses on our four pillars, which are to unify, showcase, govern, and advance the game of golf. And here at the Museum and Library, we really focus on celebrating and preserving the history of the game. So this building that we are lucky enough to have as our home here at the USGA was actually a residential home built in 1919. And it was a residential home until the USGA bought it in 1972 and moved our headquarters here from New York City. We used to house all of our offices here just in this building, which is hard to believe now since it houses the museum and library and we have a separate headquarters, but we're really lucky to have this space.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It really is. So let's check it out. Here we are in our Hall of Champions, where on the wall we have the names of every single one of our champions over the years, going back to 1895. And as you can see here, we've had a championship for women ever since the beginning in 1895. Lucy Barnes Brown was the very first female champion at the USGA. In 1895, we had the US Amateur, the US Open, and the US Women's Amateur.
Wow, that is amazing to think that it's gone back that long.
Yes, it really is. And actually, our very first person to win 3 championships in a row was Beatrix Hoyt of the US Women's Amateur in 1896, 1897, and 1898. So here we're looking at the US Women's Amateur Trophy. This was donated to the USGA by Robert Cox in 1896. He actually heard the story of the Morris County Golf Club just up the street from here in New Jersey that was founded by and for women. And he said to the USGA, if you host the 1896 US Amateur Championship at Morris County, I'd like to donate a trophy. So the USGA said yes, and we've had it ever since. It's the oldest trophy in our collection. So here we tell the story of the founding of the USGA and the origin of golf in the United States when it really took foot here just outside of New York City at the St. Andrews Golf Club. John Reed came over from Scotland with his wife and his children, and he brought the game with him, and we're so glad he did. So in this case, we talk about early women in the game, and right here you have a vase from 1900 depicting an African-American woman golfing on it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't it? And we have a number of other stories here of early women in golf, including Genevieve Hecker, who wrote the first book, Golf for Women. As I mentioned before, the challenge of using maiden names versus married names for female golfers during the time period. You'll notice on the cover of the book, Genevieve has her maiden name as well as her married name on the cover.
I think the obvious is that this outfit, first of all, like what it must have been to play golf with
Right?
us,
Can you imagine?
especially on a warm summer day. I can't imagine. But it's a little bit of history repeating itself for us. It's like the same Women's Golf Day colors.
It really is. So here we tell the story of John Shippen, who was the first African-American and the first American-born player in the US Open at Shinnecock Hills in 1896. He was a caddy there. And initially, when a lot of players found out that he was going to be playing, they threatened to boycott the US Open. And the USGA actually said, John Shippen is playing, whether you're playing or not. And so he became known in history then as the first African-American to play and the first American-born, which makes it especially unique. We are lucky enough here to have one of the clubs that he actually made. There's only 2 known clubs left of his in the world, and we have one of them.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us about Calamity Jane.
Yes, so the Calamity Jane, it's one of the more famous artifacts in our collection. Some refer to it as the most famous golf club in the world. Bob Jones used it to win 10 of his 13 championships, including his Grand Slam. It's named the Calamity Jane, actually, after a frontierswoman and sharpshooter, so that's where that name comes from. Edith Cummings won the 1923 U.S. Women's Amateur, and we have a club that belonged to her here. She was the first woman featured on the cover of Time magazine.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Not the first female golfer, the first
first woman on the cover of Time magazine, yes. And she was also the inspiration for F. Scott Fitzgerald's character of Jordan Baker in The Great Gatsby.
Super interesting. I bet she was pretty fun to hang out with.
I'm sure.
This is Glenna Collette, golf champ. She's a real gallery girl and awful hot with a putting iron. Here's another one for the collection, Glenna. Good golf and good going, gal.
Glenna won the U.S. Women's Amateur 6 times, and we're lucky enough to have all 6 of her medals here in our collection. She donated them to us. Glenna was driving over 300 yards back then, which is remarkable. I can't drive that far now, and using these clubs is really amazing.
So I heard there's a tale about Joyce Weather and Bobby Jones.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, I can. Joyce Weathered, some people think of her as Glenna's counterpart over in the UK, a sort of rivalry. I'm not so sure how accurate that was, but they did play against each other a lot, and they both played with Bob Jones. Joyce Weathered played a practice round with Bob Jones just before he would go on to win the Grand Slam, and she only lost to him by 1 stroke, which is amazing.
It's incredible.
Yes, we often hear the story of Bob Jones, but we don't always hear that the story of Joyce Weathered. So she was also the first woman to endorse a line of golf clubs. Here we talk about the Curtis Cup and tell the story of the Curtis sisters. They actually had the idea for this international competition long before the Walker Cup or the Ryder Cup. They were traveling in Britain playing a match in 1905, and they thought, wouldn't it be great to have this competition? It's a remarkable story. Those women made such a huge impact on the sport, even still today.
So tell us a little bit more, too, about during the
during the Great Depression. So a lot of people assume that golf must have declined during this time period, and a lot of private courses ended up going public. They had to close down. People didn't have as much money as they did, but public golf actually exploded during this time period, thanks in part to the New Deal. That built over 350 public golf courses, which is remarkable.
That was Roosevelt's plan at the time.
Yes, President Roosevelt.
And he had said, let's build a bunch of public courses so that people can get out and get fresh air and exercise.
Yes, I mean, they were building everything. They were building parks, they were building bridges, they were building golf courses. And actually, most people don't know this, but President Roosevelt loved to golf prior to contracting polio. We have a few of his golf clubs actually here at the USGA. He won his club championship in his 20s. So prior to contracting polio, it was a passion of his. And so his biggest mark on the game is really in the building of all of these public courses. Bethpage Black was built as a part of that program, which is a very well-known course today where we've hosted the US Open.
Yes, and you also said that the number of women playing actually increased as well during this time.
Yes, it's true actually. For women even more than men during this time period. They were getting out on the golf course, they were able to get access to these public courses in a way that they hadn't been able to before at some of these private and more exclusive spaces. This trophy is from the United Golfers Association, which was an African-American organization that organized golf championships for both men and women at a time when the PGA was still segregated. So here we have a case that talks about golf during World War II. As we talked about already a little bit with World War I, our championships were paused during this time period. However, people continued to play golf. Here we have some of the temporary rules from the Richmond Golf Club in London in 1941 about how people navigated playing a golf course during a time of war.
Very interesting.
Yes, it's definitely shocking to read, to say the least. I'll read just one for you. A player whose stroke is affected by the simultaneous explosion of a bomb may play another ball. Penalty, 1 stroke. So just to think about how people were playing golf during this time period. Pam Barton, who won the 1936 U.S. Women's Amateur, served in World War II driving ambulances. We often think the men were away at war, but women played a major role in World War II as well. Pam Barton actually died during the war, unfortunately. And a few of the founders of the LPGA also served in the war. And then when they returned back to the United States, they helped found the LPGA.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we really see how American history and golf are just so intertwined, going all the way back throughout the 20th century. So here we tell the story of Babe Didrikson Zaharias. She was one of the best athletes of the 20th century, male or female. She won Olympic medals at the 1932 Olympics. She played baseball, and then lucky for us, she decided golf was her sport, and she would win 3 U.S. Women's Opens. And in between, she was actually diagnosed with colon cancer. And after undergoing a severe, intense surgery, she came back and won the 1954 U.S. Women's Open again. And we have a wedge that she used during that championship. So she got one more win in before, unfortunately, she passed away from colon cancer. So.
Wow, but you're saying, like, so the fact that she went through it, came back, won again.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Incredible.
It's an amazing story, and she's really an inspiring figure, I think, in the golf world and for all athletes, I think, about fighting through and persevering. So thanks to the Babe Zaharias Foundation, we actually have some of my favorite items in the collection, which are Amelia Earhart's golf bag, golf clubs, and head covers. Her club head covers have her initials on them, which is just such a personal touch that is amazing to see. Ben Hogan was in a severe car crash, and many doctors weren't sure that he would live, let alone walk again, and certainly didn't think he would play golf again. But he did, and he won another U.S. Open in 1950 at Marion Golf Club. This famous photograph was taken there, and we are lucky enough to have the 1 iron that he's using in that photo. So here we talk about the founding of the LPGA. 13 women founded the Ladies Professional Golf Association, and these women did everything. I mean, they were the treasurers, they were the president of the LPGA, they were driving themselves across the country, scheduling these championships. They got women's golf off the ground, and their legacy lives on today in everything we do for women's golf.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some very interesting and very determined women, for sure, to see everything they went through to get a professional tour started.
Absolutely, and Babe Zaharias certainly being the most famous, I think, of the 13 to a lot of us, really sort of personified that spirit of determination. So here we step into sort of the age of the superpowers, and this time during the Cold War in U.S. society, we think about this sort of U.S. And the Soviet Union, and in golf we had Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer. So and that
was the big rivalry at the time, right?
Yes, that was the big rivalry. Arnold Palmer was this charismatic figure that had a huge following and everyone loved him, and then Jack Nicklaus just came out and started to steal the hearts of golf fans as well. And so you have this really exciting moment in golf history, and it also came at the rise of television, which worked out perfectly because now people can watch golf in their living rooms in a way that they couldn't before, and so the game is reaching so many more people. And you have these 2 charismatic, exciting, fun people out on the TV.
My gosh, look at the, like, no ropes and everything too. Doesn't look like they're
it's different,
course,
right?
It doesn't even
Look
look like
at
the
that.
course is roped off. And just even how the whole idea of tournaments has changed over the years is interesting.
And you see the rise of golf beginning to shift in order to look better on television. whether it's painting the holes white so they pop more, or other things like that that maybe we don't think about today, but those were done because of television. So here we have a little information on Catherine Lacoste. Catherine Lacoste is a great story. She was the only amateur to ever win the U.S. Women's Open, and she's actually the daughter of Renee Lacoste, the French tennis champion who won Wimbledon in Forest Hills.
And she won at the age of 22, right?
She was the youngest at the time to ever win the U.S. Women's Open, yes. So here we tell the story of Althea Gibson. A lot of people hear Althea Gibson, they think of tennis, but she was actually also the first African-American woman to play on the LPGA tour. So she was really breaking barriers and just an amazing all-around athlete. So here you're looking at the Moon Club, one of our most well-known artifacts in the collection. Alan Shepard hit 2 golf balls on the surface of the moon using this club. The club head was attached to this tool that was actually for collecting lunar samples on the moon. He managed to smuggle the club head along with 2 golf balls in a sock up to the surface of the moon. Apparently the first golf ball he kind of shanked into a crater, but the second one flew for miles and miles and miles, and maybe is still flying out there somewhere in space. Not many things have been to the moon and back, so we're lucky to have one of them. So here we have Annika's driver on display. Annika was an amazing figure in women's sports around the world, and she actually signed this driver here that we have. She was the first woman to earn $2 million in a single season, and then became the first to earn $20 million in career earnings. So really a remarkable, shattered that glass ceiling for us, didn't she?
Yeah, and even now she's gone back to playing golf, and she's been such an inspiration and an incredible force.
Yes, yes,
in golf in general, but as well as a human, and giving back and really promoting the game.
Yes. So here we talk about amateur championships. We have a red blazer here worn by Carol Semple Thompson at the 1992 Curtis Cup.
So it's interesting because these competitions, you know, cross borders have been going on for a while.
Yes, since 1932, I believe, is when the first Curtis Cup was held.
Right.
Although the idea the Curtis sisters came up with was all the way back to 1905. It was really, the thought was it would allow for this sort of international participation in sports and just goodwill across nations in general.
And then Walker Cup, and then Ryder Cup, and Solheim Cup, and all of these.
I know, now we have so many.
Right, but it's really great to see, you know, how it is truly a global sport, and that people created these competitions to create more of, you know, intertwining.
Absolutely, a global game.
I'm Kira K. Dixon. I'm about to play a par 4 here with some extra special helps from some pros. I got Emma Talley, Morgan Pressel, and Madeline Sagstrom, and they're gonna walk me through exactly how to play the Big Bertha Reva clubs in some pretty challenging conditions and some wind. So Madeline, let's start off with the tee shot. Let's do it. All right, Madeline, you're gonna help me with my shot off the tee. I've got my Big Bertha Reva driver. Maybe just take a look at it first and tell me what you think. It's super lightweight and
beautiful, lightweight. It looks really nice. I'm kind of a little bit jealous that you're gonna hit it on me.
Okay, this is mine. Thank you. Okay, and it's super forgiving, which I think is the main thing for any of our mid to high handicappers that are trying to work with this club. It seems like it can really set you up for success.
Absolutely, and I think that having good equipment is key to trying to do this game well, because it's hard enough as it is anyways.
Exactly, exactly. So to make it a little bit easier for me, we've got some tough conditions today with this wind. So what's your general strategy for playing in the wind when you're out playing on tour?
Yeah, I mean, today we got a lot of breeze, especially this hole is straight into us, and I find that a lot of the time when it's really windy, that most people are trying to hit it too hard. So I would like you to hit it 80%, maybe tee the ball down a little bit to keep it a little bit lower, but swing it easy when it's breezy. That's normally what I go for.
Easy breezy.
Easy
We
breezy.
can do that.
Let's do it. There you go.
There we go.
Very nice.
Okay.
Perfect.
We can work with that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Madeline. Okay, Emma, I've put myself in a pretty decent position off the tee here for my approach shot.
Yes.
So what's the first thing you're thinking for us to figure out what I'm gonna do from here?
Yeah, you know, I always think to an amateur, this pin's in the back, but really, especially with the wind, in the middle of the green is perfectly fine. So, you know, what would you normally hit from 130?
I'll probably go with a 7-iron in no wind.
Yeah. So this is probably at least a 2-club wind. And I would say probably then the hybrid. And honestly, when it's windy like this, just swing easy and let the wind do the work.
Okay, all right, so I mean, I love hybrids because I think they're the most forgiving club in the bag.
Yes, I love mine as well.
All right, and anything different to do in my swing with this wind?
You totally could. Some people put it further back in their stance, but I think just let the wind do its work and swing easy and let it go. Oh, beauty! That looks nice.
Get back there.
Oh, nice! Very good.
We hit a green! Yay!
Right in the middle.
Thanks, Emma.
Just like you wanted.
Perfect.
Except it's rolling backwards.
No. All right, so Morgan, I thought I hit this green, which I was very excited about, but the slope took me off the green, which is fine. Set me up for a short game test. We picked a club here, and you got some thoughts on how to play this shot. So what's the first piece of advice you have for me here?
Yeah, so what we chose here is a pitching wedge. We've got a lot of green to cover, and we have that giant slope that you rolled back. So the pitching wedge is going to keep the ball a little bit closer to the ground and give us a little bit more momentum to get it up this slope. So a couple of real keys when you're hitting shots like this. 2 keys for me are always keep your weight on your front foot. For you, it's your left foot. And golf is a little bit of an odd game, as we all know. You actually have to hit down in order for the ball to go up. I see a lot of people shift their weight to their back foot and almost try and help the ball in the air.
Yeah.
This club has loft on it. Let it do the work.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's
this
see
bounce is really gonna be helpful for me here. I don't need to try and, this is the move that you're talking about, right? When a lot of amateurs play. I do that all the time. So this is a good reminder for me to just keep everything on my left foot and do something like that.
Yep, and we want our ball position to be slightly back of center. It doesn't have to be all the way on your back foot, but slightly back of center.
Slightly back of center. This way.
Yeah?
Okay. Like that.
Beauty, look at that.
Woo! Sit! Come back. Okay, you know, I can work with that. We'll just putt from there.
Love it.
Perfect. Thank you, Morgan. Yay. All right, ladies, you've gotten me to a place where I've got a chance at par, so I'm really thankful to you all. and I'm about 9 feet, but I think
We're going to give it to you. It's good.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you. Do you agree, Madeline?
100%.
Okay, good. All right, if you want to...
Never seen you miss them.
No, I would never miss one of these. If you want to learn more about Big Bertha Reva and get this into your game, go to CallawayGolf.com, and I think I'm going to enjoy playing with these clubs.
Well, on the Monday, following last year's KPMG Women's PGA Championship, the inaugural Renee Powell Clearview Legacy Benefit took place in Atlanta, showcasing LPGA legend Renee Powell's impact on the women's game. Proceeds totaling more than $200,000 benefited the Clearview Legacy Foundation, which celebrates Renee Powell and her father's legacy through Clearview Golf Club.
Clearview Golf Course was built by my father back in 1946. But I think he would be very proud of everything that's happening with this event, with the Renee Powell Clearview Legacy Benefit, with LPGA and with KPMG and PGA Reach and Mariah Stackhouse. And I think he would be thrilled to see the support of everyone.
Did everybody smile? Everybody look at the camera?
My mom was in the car driving me. She was like, this lady named Renee Powell's coming. You and your group are gonna go see her. And I was like, Renee Powell, we just talked about her at the last meeting.
She was really the first professional golfer I've ever met, so it was really nice. And knowing what an African-American woman can do, it was really cool.
All right, good job. Through my parents is how I came to learn about the history of Clearview and what inspired and motivated her father to create Clearview and make it accessible and inclusive for all golfers. And I think it's incredibly important for us in the world of golf to honor that, preserving that course, preserving her father's legacy, and to kind of rally behind it and keep that going. It's just incredibly special to see my fellow LPGA Tour pros understanding and respecting this Renee Powell Clearview Legacy Benefit and wanting to give their time and a potential off day to support her and this mission.
You get the sense that you're part of something a little bit bigger than yourself, and that's the beauty about golf. Golf's given me so much, so it's nice to give back.
It's really been an honor, and it's been amazing to meet Renee and play with all these amazing people. It's been a really, really fun day.
Everyone enjoyed themselves, and most importantly, we all made a difference today in diversifying golf and helping out Clearview.
Like many people who became passionate about golf, Jericho Triana has always had a competitive spirit and the game to back it up.
My greatest accomplishment, well, almost greatest, was winning the Los Angeles Women's Amateur in 1987. The greatest accomplishment was the following year when I came in second, and I was 8 months pregnant at the time.
And once Jericho started her family, she wasted little time in passing her love for the game to her children.
Very good, sweetie pie.
We started all of our kids probably as soon as they started walking, age 2. They're already got a club in their hand.
I grew up and started playing at 2.5, probably younger than I can remember. I instantly loved the sport. I don't actually remember a time where I didn't love it.
Once Jonlyn was off at college, Jericho decided to leave the corporate world and further her education.
When I looked into New Mexico State University's curriculum, I saw that they had a professional golf management program. My eyes lit up and I said, wow, I could become a PGA member. And Jonlyn happened to be at that university. So I talked to him about the golf program and I said, I'm going to set up a meeting with the director of golf over there, of the program. Would you join me? And he said, sure.
I'm talking to them, and I'm looking at Jonlyn, and I'm giving him the program overview. And all of a sudden, about 20 minutes into the presentation, his mom interrupts me and says, excuse me.
Hey guys, it's not him that wants to be in the program, it's me.
And I'm all like, wow, okay, well, I'm sorry. So I turned my attention to her.
Even after that, I don't think I was very interested in the program.
I had a conversation with him that said, we're golfers. We grew up, where you grew up playing golf, we love golf.
That's good.
Let's just become professionals.
I started lecturing, and she's not in class. Her son's in class. After class, I said to Jonlyn, I'm really confused. I thought you weren't interested in the program and your mom was. He goes, that's how it was. But I decided golf is what I want to be a part of. And how cool would it be for me and my mom to go through the program together?
We went to school together, sat next to each other, played golf together.
And eventually, they graduated together.
Walking together on stage with him was the moment to remember. I mean, it was a great moment.
Right? And then what? Cool? We keep it like that instead of what?
Today, Jericho and Jonlyn even work together as PGA teaching professionals at the golf club at Lansdowne in Northern Virginia.
They both have unique characteristics that are fantastic. Jonlyn's a great teacher. He gets along with the junior golfers well. He gets along with the staff. He's a great player.
There we go. Now we're set up. Much better.
And then Mom is super helpful. We have junior golfers that she helps with. She helps us with admin stuff. She's just multifaceted. Her career in corporate America helps us with the analytics.
Take it back, hold.
I decided to take lessons, and Jericho being a female instructor, I thought maybe I'd start with her. Kind of fell in love with the game because of her.
Just seeing the dynamic and how you can just tell that they're super close. There's just a bond that I think is just, it's very visible.
Seeing the bond that they have as mother and son, it did something for me as a father to my daughters and what the game can do for a family.
It's what we've been doing for a very long time, is having this sport be a gateway to our relationship. And it's not that it can't exist outside of it, it's just that this is something that we both do and love.
Something about this game. Golf is full of career opportunities, both on and off the course. Whether you're in the office or in the field, the possibilities are endless. Come see what the game can do for you and make golf your career. There's something about this game. Golf brings us together no matter how or where you play it. We're inviting everyone to try it, no matter your age, skill level, or location. Visit MakeGolfYourThing.org to search for resources in your area that will help you get started in the game.
A recent survey has shown that over 80% of amateurs and professionals at some point in the round use the side stamp to help with their aim and alignment during the round. You can use a side stamp off the tee, but I'm going to show you a couple things you can do on the green to help you make more putts. So I'm on a sloping green, I've got a left to right putt. I'm going to mark my ball and then show you what I'm going to do. The first thing you always want to do is stand so that you and the ball and the cup are all on one line, and then I'll show you what we're going to do from there. So if I aim at the cup, I know it's going to roll way to the right, so I'm going to start it left. I think this start line is going to look something like that. So I'm now going to take the ball and I'm going to line that up with my start line. Then, this part's really important, you have to double check your work. So you come quickly back. You don't want to take up any time, you don't want to slow the pace of play down, quickly giving it a quick glance just to assure yourself that you like your start line, because when you stand over it, you want to be confident. Then you're going to set your club face up with the line, and you are ready to go. Give yourself a couple looks at the target to judge the speed. And now when I'm looking over it, there's no question how I'm going to start this ball, because I'm committed to the work I just did, selecting my start line. Wow, look how high I had to start that ball. So use the side stamp, and remember, it doesn't have to slow play down, especially if you're making more putts. Check out Titleist.com for some really cool side stamp options. It's gonna help you putt a lot better.
Hi, Jennifer Hudson here, Director of Instruction at Sankaty Head Golf Club and owner of Lifelong Golf, here to help you create effortless power. Today, we're going to explore the idea of how your body can actually help your arm swing with speed towards the target. This can affect both your direction and create more distance for your golf shots. So let me start off by just demonstrating what I see an awful lot of on the lesson tee. The perfect chunk shot. And in order to do this, I stayed completely flat-footed. It felt very effortful, and I felt like my arms and torso were completely torquing and swinging against my lower half. Not a fun way to swing the golf club. So if this is a problem that sounds familiar to you, just follow the golf walk. And to do the golf walk, what you're going to do is you're actually going to take your body and face the target, which is where we'd like your body to end up to begin with. Both of your feet facing the target, and set up like you're almost in mid-stride, as if you're walking. So what we're going to do, you could pretend you have a softball in your hand or a bowling ball if you want. You're going to swing your arm back and forth. And as your arm goes back and forth, what you want to have happen is your trail heel lift up so that your trail knee can get all the way up to where your lead knee is. When you do this, you should feel like your tail is tucking underneath your shoulders and you can gently tap your toe. So this is what effective weight shift feels like in the golf swing. So once you can do that successfully, you're going to face the golf ball or the target line a bit more like normal, but not quite, because our trail foot's going to point towards the direction of the ball and our lead foot is pointing towards the target. Again, we're going to pretend we have that bowling ball in our hand, and now we're experiencing weight transfer plus pivot. So in order to end up in my same finished position with my knees touching and the ability to tap my toe, I had to transfer my weight from trail foot to lead foot and turn my trail knee towards the target. Once I've done that successfully a couple times, I'll make the same motion with a standard stance with both of my toes pointing towards the target line. And let's see if I can complete the transfer of my weight, the rotation of my body, supporting my arm swing towards the target. So it feels easy enough right now. And I certainly don't feel like a whole lot of effort is happening to make this motion happen. So if I make that same pattern with my golf swing, little practice swing, trail knee to lead knee, I can gently tap my toe, and I feel my tail tucked underneath my shoulders. I think I'm ready to go and have a more successful golf shot. So a lot less effort, a lot more power going through the ball towards the target. Remember, knees touching, toes tapping, tails tucked. Again, this is Jennifer Hudson, Director of Instruction at Sankaty Head and owner of Lifelong Golf. I hope this helps you to play better golf in the future.
I'm Trillium Rose, Titleist staff member. I am on a par 3, a fairly short par 3, looking at only about 130 yards, to a green that's heavily protected with bunkers. It's elevated and just past that really high grass. So the main priority here is to get it safely on the green, so I've got a putt. Now, in this case, there's not a lot of wind, but you can see this wind could whip up and change things a little bit. So first I'm gonna hit a normal shot to the center of the green, and then I'm gonna show you what you can do if you have a little wind to keep it underneath. So for my stock 9-iron shot, I'm gonna have a normal ball position, which is about one ball back of center, thinking good tempo and nice balanced finish. Now I'm going to show you a shot I would hit if we had a little bit more wind in our face. So I'm teeing it up slightly lower because I don't want to hit anywhere near the top part of the face, because that's going to add a little bit more trajectory. We want to keep that trajectory low in this case so it doesn't get caught up and balloon. I'm going to put the ball slightly further back than I normally would, and then I'm going to really think about that shaft leaning forward. So I may not have as much release going with my hands. So for you, it may be your left hand feel like you're leaning it forward. For some, it may feel like your right hand. Either one's okay. Then I'm still going to aim at the middle of the green because I certainly don't want to be too far right or too far left in those greenside bunkers. And there are 2 shots that you can use on par 3s with the wind or without the wind that are going to get you safely on the green.
Hi, Jennifer Hudson, Director of Instruction at Sankaty Head Golf Club and owner of Lifelong Golf, here with a great long putt drill called high and low. A great putt, of course, goes in the hole, but a very good putt would be one that does one of 2 things. Number 1, it's approaching the cup from the high side of the hill, so the ball's always curving towards the hole. And 2, if you miss it, it can come to rest within 3 feet of the hole. So when you're practicing this drill, you're going to first miss the putt purposefully on the low side. You're going to choose a line where the ball is always curving away from the hole. Secondly, you're going to miss the putt on the high side, where it is purposefully going to go past the hole coming in from the high side of the hill. I happen to like to put a club out there about 1 step behind the cup so I can also monitor my speed. A great speed, if the ball doesn't go in the hole, will come to rest within 3 feet of the hole. The closer you are to the hole, of course, you might tighten that margin behind the cup, but within 3 feet, we feel like we've got a great chance of making the second putt coming back. So let's go ahead and take a look at this putt. I'm downhill and it's sloping from left to right. And I'm going to first intentionally miss on the low side, second, intentionally miss on the high side, and third, try to make it. All with speeds where if it doesn't go in the hole, I'm going behind the cup to my club that I've set 3 feet behind the cup. So to recap for the high and low drill, you're going to miss it intentionally on the low side, and then you're going to miss it intentionally on the high side, and then you're going to try to make it. Just remember, all 3 putts, your goal is to hit it with a speed where it would come to rest, if not in the cup, behind the cup and to the club you've put on the ground within 1 step of the back of the cup. So a perfect example of how high and low can really help you to hone in on your leg putts, distance control, and become better at reading the greens. When you miss the low side, the ball's always curving away from the hole. It never had a chance. And the only saving part of my first putt here is that I stayed within my 1 club length of the hole. So possibly a makeable putt as I come back. My second attempt to the high side, I did a nice job coming in from the high side, but you can see I didn't make it into my zone past the cup. So this was high side, but also maybe never going in because it never got to the front edge. The best of these 3 putts was my third attempt. I had it coming in from the high side and it came to rest. It didn't go in, but it came to rest within the back of the cup and my club on the ground. So really makeable putt. Of course, remember lag putts, long putts over 18 feet, certainly. We're not trying to necessarily make it. We're trying to understand how to read the green from the high side and to leave it within a makeable 2-putt range. High and low is going to help you practice with a purpose and make sure that you are getting better at speeds and green reading. Again, this is Jennifer Hudson, Director of Instruction at Sankaty Head Golf Club and owner of Lifelong Golf. I hope you have less putts next time you play and more fun on the course.
What I love most about golf is that you can never beat the game. That even if you have the best round of your life, there's still something that you could have done better. And I think it's so mental. When you're out there, it's just you're on your own. You've got no teammates to help you. You can't hide behind another teammate like you can in football or something. And I think it's just a great game to get confidence and to really know yourself as a player and a person.
You know, I'm obsessed with golf. I think about it all the time, possibly too much.
Get it up bunk with Olivia.
What I love most about golf is connection. I think if I had to pick one word, and it's connecting with people, especially now, not often do you get that much time to spend with somebody, whether it's one-on-one or even it's a foursome, but also the connection with nature, the connection with yourself, because you are playing against yourself and what it reveals. And I think an observant person is going to get a lot from that, which I think is why we all say how wonderful the game is.
Golf is a passion. For the men and women who play the sport, it's incredibly fulfilling, allowing them to spend hours disconnected from the challenges of modern life, enjoying natural landscapes all by themselves or in the company of friends and family. They're often called golf nutters or golf addicts.
Golf is the most amazing game because it looks so simple, yet it's so difficult. You know, you're hitting a stationary ball, why should it be that difficult? But it's one of the toughest games you could ever play. There are so many outside factors, so many elements, and the biggest one, of course, the grey matter between your ears, which is just so very important. It's just fascinating because you never master it.
Well, I think you can't just say what's great about women's golf. You can say what's great about the sport overall. It brings so many different benefits. It teaches you life skills. It's very healthy in every aspect, providing you're not on a cart, you're actually walking.
This anecdotal evidence from golfers has been validated by the Golf and Health Project, a report published by the sport's governing body, the R&A. They found out that golfers live 5 years longer than the general population and that they are healthier and happier. However, the number of people playing golf still remains relatively low, particularly amongst women. So what is it that's holding women back?
So the way that things are now in golf, and people asking whether we need to put up with it, or how it is nowadays, and wow, isn't that bad, or whatever. But just think back 30 years ago when I started playing golf. They wouldn't believe that either.
Hello everyone, I'm Jill Spiegel, the president of the PGA Tour Superstore. On behalf of my colleagues, we are thrilled to be part of today's Women's Golf Day Palooza. We recognize and enthusiastically support the growth of women participation in golf. We have been a supporter of Women's Golf Day since its inception, and for the past 3 years, we have been the official retailer for Women's Golf Day. On June 3rd, across most of the country, our stores will celebrate Women's Golf Day by hosting a golf social reception from 2 to 4 that will include clinics, contests, games, prizes, and discounts for all. Today, people are experiencing golf differently. They're playing to have fun, they're playing for the social aspect of it, they're playing for the wellness benefits. Last year, for the first time, the overall number of golfers surpassed 41 million people. And the face of golf has evolved, with millennials being the fastest growing participant segment and women representing 40% of beginner golfers. And overall female participation in golf has increased for 3 consecutive years. We are in the era of modern golf. On course, that means a more relaxed atmosphere from what people are wearing, whether they're wearing hoodies or joggers or listening to music on their Wingman speakers. They're really out there to have fun and enjoy their round. Let's spend a few minutes talking about the importance of getting fit for golf clubs prior to making an investment. Not everyone's swing is the same, and there are all kinds of equipment out there to help your game. At the PGA Tour Superstore, we like to say it's all in the fit. No matter your skill level, our certified fitters and industry-leading technology can help you get dialed in and take your game to the next level.
So Summer, what is Studio and who's it for?
So Studio is for everybody. If you're looking to improve your game, either through fitting or golf instruction, we see anybody from not being able to get the ball in the air to somebody who's gonna break 70. So if you go inside the PGA Tour Superstore, you're gonna be able to book that one-on-one experience, which I highly recommend.
At PGA Tour Superstore, what is your fitting philosophy?
So because we work with the major brands and we're able to see how they fit and the things that they use that work for them, we're able to pick and choose to see what works for us. We also train our studio fitters and our instructors here at the Performance Center. So you're gonna get that consistent experience if you go to Florida and get fit, or if you go to California and get fit, or here in Georgia. So because we're brand agnostic as well, we're not gonna push you into any particular brand. We're gonna fit you for what is working best for you.
What are the most popular fittings?
So it really depends on what your goal is. As the customer coming in, we're gonna take a look at that. But as far as what we do the most of, it would be driver, irons, and wedges.
You guys have a lot to offer. Is there something that I'm missing?
Yes, I would say one of our most underutilized fittings is the putter. And if you think about it, when you go out and play, that's roughly 40% of your total score, and it's usually the last thing people get fit for. It drives me absolutely crazy. So come in and get a putter fit for sure.
I will definitely do that because my putting is terrible. So that's what I need the most help with.
Awesome.
Is Studio only for fittings?
It's also for golf instruction. So if you're looking for world-class golf instruction, we actually fly our instructors here to train at the PGA Tour Superstore Performance Center, where they learn a process. So again, if you're getting an instructor in New York, it's going to be a very similar process that you're going to get in Florida or Georgia. And all of these instructions or instructors are required to use V1, which is going to give you video capture of your golf swing, as well as TrackMan data that's going to back up the changes you're making in your swing, so you're going to be able to see ball and flight data, as well as the pressure mat. And the pressure mat's a great way to be able to see where the pressure is in your golf swing. So our instructors utilize all those things.
What's the advantage of getting fit?
As you probably already know, golf is a challenging sport. So it's the same as if you were to go test drive a car. Are you going to leave that seat setting where it is? Or are you potentially going to move it up, move it back? It's the same as golf equipment. We want you to love golf. We want you to keep golfing. So it's important to get in the right equipment, also to prevent potential injury as well. So just to make golf easier and more fun.
I'm getting fitted tomorrow for sure. Do you have to be a good golfer to get fitted? Because I'm not a good golfer.
And not necessarily. I think a lot of people, part of the reason maybe they're not hitting the ball as good as they could be, it's because they're potentially in the wrong equipment. So if we were to get you in something, like say somebody for your height, maybe you're not standard length, right? So we could test out different shafts, put you in something maybe a little shorter, maybe that might work for you better, and then I'll have the data to back it up. So really important, no matter what your skill level is to come in and get fit.
Can I combine lessons with getting fit?
Absolutely. And the awesome thing about Studio is you have your golf instructor and your fitter that work very closely together. So if our studio fitter is working with somebody that potentially needs lessons, you can go ahead and send them to the instructor or vice versa. Or if somebody is getting lessons and they need new equipment or potentially something new, I can build something for them right on the spot and then just work with that instructor to get them in the right equipment and vice versa.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
By its very nature, golf is a game that brings people together. Our Girls Got Drive Evergreen initiative pays homage to the internal drive we all have to be our best self, no matter what it takes to get us there. It underscores our commitment to growing the game for women and providing a destination and resource for golfers. On behalf of our 2,500 associates across the country, we want to share with you our commitment to helping women get outside and onto the green, spending fun and quality time with family and friends. Our store associates are enthusiastically leveraging their knowledge, skills, and assets to amplify the message of Women's Golf Day so that every woman is empowered and inspired to play the game, regardless of their skill level. That's what we call Girls Got Drive.
Another round? The tee is ours.
My name's Nicole Wheatley, and I am the co-producer and co-writer of Breaking with Tradition, a documentary about women in golf. Over the course of the last couple of years, we've become privy to some really interesting stories, and this is one that I'm delighted to be able to share with you here today. Now, I'm joined by Tony and Veronica. So, how did you two come to meet each other in the first place?
So we started the RNA's Women's Leadership Programme in January. So because of the number of ladies that were on the calls, there was one lady from Canada, there was Veronica from Ukraine. A lot of the work that we did was virtually. So we met a few times virtually, met once a month virtually, and all just started to become instantly firm friends. I think we all discovered that actually we were kindred spirits in one way or another.
And then that's when Veronica's situation became sort of quite clear, I believe. So Veronica, do you want to tell the story from your side of your point of view?
Yes, it was just a regular workshop we had, and it was already when the war started. So I was in the bomb shelter, so I couldn't imagine myself not to join the workshop. So I think that I surprised everyone because yeah, the ladies didn't expect me to be present, but at the same time I couldn't imagine myself not to be present, because at that time I really wanted the whole world, especially through my golfing community, the world golfing community, to hear what is happening in Ukraine, because at that time it was super important for us to bring that message to the world that the horrific time is in Ukraine. And that was that that important workshop when I spoke to my team about the war, about invasion.
Yeah. And it was really the problem of displacement was the thing that sort of shocked you the most. I think that nobody could be together and how difficult it was for families to be apart from one another. Is that right?
Yes, it was at the time when I already left Kiev, and I was in Western Ukraine. So, and many people were displaced, and many people like me, I left my husband in Kiev. So we had to, we had in fact 1 hour just to leave the city with my kids to be in a safe situation, more or less. Yeah.
So Tony, tell me from your point of view, obviously there was yourself and 8 other women involved in all of this. So how did Project Ukraine come to be, and what has it set out to do, and what have you achieved so far? Because I know, the story to date is amazing, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Veronica described, we had a call scheduled in to meet as a group, and the war had literally just broken out. And to be honest, we didn't expect Veronica to be on the call. And when she was, it was a very emotional situation where we couldn't quite believe what was happening. And I think as a whole world, we were all hurting, we were all in pain. But I think also the resilience that Veronica was showing, even in those immediate days, we kind of met as a group separately and said, look, what can we do? What can we do? We're kind of 9 women, and we've got influence and power, but we're also feeling quite overwhelmed with how we could help and what would be meaningful. So through conversations with Veronica, also the people that led the RNAs program, Alison and Jenny, we discussed how could we specifically help within the golfing community. That's where we have the most knowledge, that's where we have the most influence. And through that, really, we developed how can we help those on the pathway with the Ukrainian Golf Federation. So those young golfers that quite quickly, one day to the next, had some talent, had some emerging talent, but unfortunately the circumstances meant that they were no longer a priority within their golfing sort of journey. So we decided, how can we specifically help those? Initially, it was all around placement, accommodation, if they needed any sort of initial support, and what we could do, whether we were connecting them to border control, whether we were connecting them in terms of kind of anything kind of from a food or a housing point of view. We then started focusing on kind of how can we get their membership at local golf places within the countries they settled in. So we've got people from Belgium, Geneva, Spain. So again, we were connecting to those local federations. And then we kind of came up with the idea around how can we bring these golfers together. Veronica shared through her involvement within the Ukrainian Golf Federation that these children came together quite often, these young people came together quite often, and obviously they hadn't been able to do that. So we decided to do a coaching camp, and we thought, yes, we can bring them over in a coaching camp. And as we soon discovered, visa applications, travel applications, all those different things that we needed to overcome. But we were successful in our mission. We brought them all together last year for a 5-day coaching experience. And within that, we gave a complete hopeful experience to the children. They got to be together and kind of really just enjoy the week. Veronica, I don't know if you want to share specifically what we did in the week, because I'm conscious that I've spoken a little bit more. So Veronica, you wanted to share?
I also believe you came over as well, didn't you, Veronica, at that point?
Yes. So it was just the recent hugely successful high performance camp was just something I honestly didn't expect. Emotional for them, but in a positive way. So we gathered them together, and they enjoyed being together, sitting in the lobby, speaking, not thinking about the war, not thinking about the explosions. And we were trying to give them that feeling like they had previously when they were together playing in Ukraine, that they can hit the ball and just concentrate on the game, to be on the golf course again. Because some of them, they were not even, at that time, they were not even playing golf, so that was the first time after the war broke out, they again was on the golf course. So, and as well as they met Rory McIlroy during that week. So we also got an unplanned photo taken with Ryan Fox. They played also with other Scottish junior golfers competitions. So they had a full week of many activities. Just again, our aim was we were thinking about their well-being, so that at the end of the camp they feel like we are trying to change their lives, and we are giving them this opportunity. And I think we fully achieved that aim. during that week. Yeah,
I think it's a fantastic example of how the golf community comes together. And I think that if you're not part of the golf community, it's very difficult to understand how that works. But, you know, we have this shared passion, we have a shared interest, and we all know how much the benefits of playing golf from an emotional and from a physical and mental point of view. And I think everything you did in that week really kind of captured that moment. So in terms of ambition and what's next and how the people watching this today can help, what are the plans, Tony, and how can people get involved with the project?
Brilliant. I'd say thank you very much, Nicole. So our plans for this year, we've got two key areas. So we have got the GoFundMe page, which we launched straight after the camp last year. So if you go to GoFundMe and you search for Project Ukraine, you'll find that. That's a specific fund all around dedicated to the educational needs of these young people. So a lot of them are secondary school age and going into further education. So if you can donate anything, no matter how big or small, we would really appreciate that. And that's their long-lasting change. We are also doing another coaching camp. So the coaching camp is actually taking place in England this time. It's at the McDonald's Hotel, Portal Hotel. And that will be where we will be welcoming them to the camp, where we're going to have a trip to the British Masters. So they'll get to watch world-class golf and hopefully be inspired by all of that amazing, those amazing professionals. We're then going to have coaching from top quality coaches throughout the week. We've got an event with the local members at Portal as well as local juniors. So we're going to be doing a great, fun, competitive event. Let's get our competitive element out there, as well as doing a raffle in the evening to raise some additional funds. And then there's going to be lots of practicing and playing opportunities. We know from last year, as Veronica will share, that we had lots of children who didn't want to get off the golf course. In terms of how you guys can help or how we would like to help, if you can donate, no matter how big or small, to that GoFundMe page, we would really do appreciate it, and it will continue to hopefully grow, and we can continue to support these young golfers. Any voluntary services, so people can volunteer, whether it's during the week itself or kind of prior, or if they want to connect with us virtually, anyone, in terms of if anyone's got any expertise or voluntary services that they can provide. Any products that you might want to sort of give to the children. So we've got sort of whether it's clothing, equipment, whether it's just gifts. It doesn't all have to be golf. Again, these are teenagers, so if anything you want to give, that would be lovely. We would really do appreciate that. And then finally, in terms of kind of any awareness opportunities, so we are just looking at launching a social media platform, which we will share with Nicole. So if you can share any of the messages, any of the posts that we are sort of using, that would be great. I think from our point of view, we just want to make sure that nobody forgets about Ukraine and they remember these young people and they continue to support them. So if anyone can do any of those things, we'll just be so pleased and so grateful. I'm not sure if I mentioned the dates, but the dates of the camp of this year are the 26th of June to the 1st of July.
We'll add all of the contact details in the GoFundMe page for people to be able to access from here. So that's not a problem at all. So Veronica, is there anything else you'd like to add as we close the conversation?
Just please support Ukraine. We need you and need your involvement, and all support, great or small, all will be counted, and it's just hugely appreciated by my country and by myself.
Well, we're incredibly grateful for you telling your story and sharing your time with us today, and I'm sure that everybody watching will want to be able to support you in some way. I think the work that you're doing is so inspirational, and as I've said before, it really does show the power of golf. So thank you again for your time, and best of luck with everything for the rest of this year.
Thank you, Nicole.
Imperial has been making premium hats since 1916. After more than 100 years, many things have changed, but one thing has not. Our dedication to making America's finest headwear. When you wear Imperial, you are part of a unique group that values quality craftsmanship and unwavering attention to detail. People who wear Imperial headwear believe it's more than just a cap. Every stitch matters, and every moment should be cherished. We will never forget that each and every cap we make is a cap that will be proudly worn as a badge of honor, a commitment to be showcased, or a story to be celebrated. Our dedication to detail has driven us forward for over 100 years. So wherever you go, Imperial will be right there with you.
To one of the greatest events in golf and one of the greatest in all of sports. Europe against the USA. Europe, wait to take the cup home. Hello. Francesco Molinari has done it for Europe.
The site itself offers not only some great views of the golf hole that it's viewing, but also great long distance views of numerous other golf holes. Coupled with that, we've got 3 or 4 wonderful vantage points over the city of Rome. So there's real drama. We consciously routed the golf course so that the drama came on the back nine. Any tournament, any match play event, that's where the drama is. And we try to emphasize that with the way we've placed the golf holes.
All the building blocks are there for what can make a fantastic Ryder Cup. A wonderful golf course in a fantastic, iconic city. And you know we're going to have 24 of the best players on the planet playing, and they never let us down.
Simone è nato proprio come un atto d'amore dei miei genitori Laura Biagiotti e Gianni Cigna nei confronti di questo luogo meraviglioso. Prima il restauro del castello, la cui torre risale all'anno 1000, e poi è arrivato il campo da golf, 150 ettari che si snodano proprio intorno alla torre del castello come una gigantesca, straordinaria e unica gonna verde.